Perfect. All right. Well, welcome everyone to our Penn State virtual college road trip info session. We are really excited to be joined by Lori Wax of Penn State Admissions, Aaron Kaufman of Penn State Hillel, and an amazing student, Jackie, who's going to share a little bit about the student perspective as a Penn State student. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. We're going to get started with Lori. So I will pass the mic to you.
Well, thank you so much, Diana, and so nice to be here tonight. Thank you very much for anybody tuning in to learn a little bit about Penn State. I'm going to talk about Penn State, just the highlights, as well as a little bit about our application process. My name again is Lori Wax. I'm the regional admissions counselor for Penn State for the New York metro area. I'm also a parent of 3 recent college graduates, so I have been through this process and understand all the things that you're thinking about and worrying about. And I just want to say, try to enjoy this process, take advantage of all these virtual opportunities to learn and explore and enjoy the process. So just to get started, at Penn State, we are very proud of a couple of really important numbers. To start, we are a top 1% world-class university according to the Center for World University Rankings, which ranks about 18,000 different universities across the globe, and Penn State comes in the top 50, putting us in the top 1%. We also are very proud of our 85% graduation rate, which is over 25 percentage points above the national average, as well as our 93% retention rate, which is about 12 percentage points above the national average. These numbers indicate that Penn State students are happy and successful and supported, and that's what enables them to stay and succeed and thrive here at Penn State. We are also a top tier 1 research university. We spend close to $1 billion every year on undergraduate research. We certainly have lab research and science research, but we actually have research in every academic area, from the arts and humanities and social sciences. So whatever your academic interest is, if you are interested in delving deeper and getting involved in cutting edge research, you will have that opportunity at Penn State. We're also very proud of our top-ranked Career Services Office, which is a resource that you will use as an undergraduate student and even as an alum. We offer career counseling to help students identify different career paths for the things that they're interested in. We offer resume writing help and mock interviews, and we have 2 very large career fairs throughout the year where thousands of employers come to campus to hire our students for both full-time employment when they graduate, as well as for internships and co-ops. Our alumni reach back out to us when they're making transitions in their careers, or also to offer their services to mentor students and to talk to our students about different career paths that they happen to be expert in. We also have 300 plus study abroad opportunities. They were unfortunately on hold this past year due to COVID, but we are very hopeful that as soon as it's safe to do so, we'll be sending our students around the globe again. We have 300 different programs, so chances are what you're interested in studying, where you want to study, you will be able to find. We have programs that are a semester, we have programs that are a year, we have programs that are just over the summer for students that don't want to miss a minute of their time on campus, and we even have some shorter duration programs that are embedded in classes so that you take a class and at the end you would go on a broad trip to pretty much continue studying what you did in the class. We also are very proud of our student faculty ratio, which is 16:1. So even though we are a pretty large university, we have a relatively small student faculty ratio. For every hour that our professors teach, they offer an hour of office hours. So there is ample opportunity for you to get to know your professors, have one-on-one time with them, and cultivate relationships with your different professors. So Penn State is somewhat unique in that we have 20 different campuses throughout the state of Pennsylvania. We like to say that we are one university geographically dispersed. Our main campus, and the one that most people, particularly from out of state, are thinking of, is at University Park, which is located in the rural college town of State College, Pennsylvania. That is our largest campus. We have 46,000 undergraduate students attending at University Park. But we also have 19 other campuses throughout the state we call our Commonwealth campuses. They range in size from 500 to 5,000. There are some that are closer to cities that have a little bit more of an urban feel or suburban feel, and others that are in more rural areas. Each campus you can see on the map has a little blue circle next to it. In some of those circles, you'll see little houses. The red houses at University Park and the Barron campus indicate that housing is both required and guaranteed for freshmen. The yellow houses you see at some of the other campuses indicate that housing is available, but not required or guaranteed. Many of our students will participate in our 2+2 program, which means that you can start almost any major on any of our campuses and then transition over to usually University Park for your second 2 years. The bulk of our majors do need to be completed at University Park. About half of our students spend all 4 years on one campus, and about half of our students spend all 4 years, or 2 years on one campus and 2 years on another campus. So there are many different paths to a Penn State degree, and you can figure out which one is best for you. So as far as academics go, we have 275 different academic programs. They're housed in 12 different academic colleges, ranging everywhere from agriculture, arts and architecture, business, communications. We have engineering and education and earth and mineral sciences. We have health and human development, information science technology. We also have liberal arts, we have nursing, and we have sciences. So there is a wide range of things for you to explore and to study. We also have our division of undergraduate studies for students that are completely undecided. No worries about that. About a third of our students start out in the division of undergraduate studies. For all Penn State students, whether you start out as undecided or you start out as a pre-major in one of our academic colleges, you do have your first 2 years to take your general education requirements and also to explore some potential other interests that you have. And then the end of sophomore year is when generally you would declare your major. And if you're coming from undecided, you would transition into whichever academic college houses your major. We also have an honors college. The honors college spans pretty much every major. Some perks that go along with the Schreier Honors College are getting to take honors level classes in whatever your major is. There's a $5,000 a year scholarship associated with the Schreier Honors College, as well as pre-registration for classes. At certain campuses, in particular University Park, there's a special Schreier Honors College residence hall. So in addition to our phenomenal academics and our enriching opportunities through research and study abroad and experiential learning opportunities of internships and co-ops, we also have an active, vibrant student life on our campus. 95% of our students are involved in our 1,200 different clubs and activities. These range everywhere from pre-professional, performance, political, religious, community service, social action, social, we have Greek life on campus. So you name it, you can find your niche. Hillel is one of these wonderful organizations we do have on campus, and they'll be giving you a little bit more detail about Hillel later on in the program. What you're looking at a picture of is probably the most beloved club on campus, and that is our dance marathon, affectionately known as Thon. Many of our students will form teams through their different clubs and organizations, residence halls, on all of our different campuses, and they get involved and they fundraise throughout the year to raise money for pediatric cancer research. All of this culminates in a 46-hour dance marathon. Thon is the largest student-run philanthropy in the world. We unfortunately had to hold a virtual Thon this year. However, our students were equally as successful as they have been each year, and they did raise over $10 million once again to go towards pediatric cancer research. We're very hopeful that we'll be holding our in-person Thon again in the near future. As well as, in addition to all of these activities, we do offer athletics at just about every level. At University Park, we are D1 athletics, part of the Big Ten Conference. Most of the Commonwealth campuses are D3 athletics, and club and intramural athletics are available throughout the university. At Penn State, we do foster an environment that's diverse and inclusive. We have many student resources, including academic resources, counseling and psychological service resources. We have multicultural student resources, and we go to great lengths to plan activities throughout the year to help learn about different issues, about different cultures, to be aware of different issues, and just make an environment on campus that's safe and welcoming for everyone. So those are pretty much the highlights of a Penn State education. Now I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about our application process. You do have to apply online when you apply to Penn State. You can apply using the Common Application, the Coalition Application, or the My Penn State application. Any of them are equally fine. Whichever one you do use, you do have to fill out a My Penn State profile. On your My Penn State profile, you're going to include some very important information. You're going to choose your program. You're going to choose the term you wish to start. We do offer both start in the fall as well as start in the summer. And I can talk to you a little bit more about that if you have any questions. And the most important thing that you're going to include on your My Penn State profile is your self-reported academic record, also known as your SWAR. We'll ask for you to fill out the classes that you took, years 9 through 11, as well as any high school level classes you took in grade 8. We want to see the classes that you took, the grades that you received in those classes, and we're also looking at a list of the classes that you're taking senior year. We do not use your senior year grades, but we do like to see what you're taking. We do look very carefully at the level of difficulty of your classes. We're paying close attention to your core classes. And depending on what you're interested in, for instance, if you're interested in STEM, we're going to be looking very carefully at your math and science grades. So that is, again, the single biggest factor that we are considering in making our admissions decisions. We do look next at your SAT or ACT scores if you choose to submit them. We are test optional right now through 2023, which means that if you are a great test taker and have phenomenal scores, by all means submit them. If a great test score can certainly help your application. However, if you do not submit test scores, it will in no way hurt your application. So if you're not a strong test taker, you'd be better off not submitting your test scores. We will look even more carefully at your self-reported academic record to make our decisions. Just to give you an idea of your eligibility for both University Park as well as the Commonwealth campuses, University Park does tend to be a little bit more selective because it is our most popular campus for a first choice start for students. And these are the ranges of the middle 50%, which means that 25% of our students are above these ranges, 5% of our students are below these ranges. You can use these ranges as a guide to determine whether or not you'd be best submitting your test scores. A little bit about deadlines. August 1st, when all of the online applications are available, we do offer 2 different application plans. One is early action and the other is rolling admissions. I highly recommend applying early action. It is your best shot of getting your first choice campus, your first choice start term. So if you can get your application completed by November 1st, you will get your decision by December 24th, and you will still have until May 1st to accept your offer. So it's not binding, it's not early decision, it is early action. If you do not apply early action, we will consider applications on a rolling basis in different applicant pools by month. It gets more and more competitive as time goes on. So again, the earlier you get your application in, the better chances you have of getting your top choices. As far as financial aid goes, the FAFSA, or the free application for federal student aid, is available as of October 1st. December 1st is when we ask that you submit your FAFSA so that we can give out aid award notifications in February. Whether or not you think you will qualify for need-based aid, we still ask that you submit a FAFSA because it is something that we need for merit-based awards. Just to give you an idea of the cost for out-of-state students for both University Park and the Commonwealth campuses, these are the fees for tuition and fees, as well as room and meals. The cost of running University Park does tend to be a little bit more, and so that is reflected in the higher tuition. About 70% of our students do get some form of either need or merit-based aid, so are not paying this full amount, but this can give you a reference point. And then I will just end on what I consider one of the real highlights of being a Penn State graduate, and that is that when you graduate from Penn State, you are joining the largest alumni network in the world. We have 700,000 active alumni 1 in every 106 Americans with a college degree is a Penn State graduate. And what that means for you is that when you graduate, you are joining a lifelong social network, regardless of where you are. Most big cities around the country and even around the world, there are local Penn State alumni chapters. And it's also a great professional network, whether you're on LinkedIn through the Penn State Alumni Network or industry-specific networks. It's a wonderful way to help get your foot in the door on many occasions. And in fact, according to LinkedIn, Penn State graduates the second highest number of CEOs. So you are in great company as a Penn State graduate. With that, I am so proud to say we are Penn State. And I'm going to just hear a couple of our social media handles in case you want to follow us. You can also always reach out with any admissions questions to admissions@psu.edu. And I will hand it over now to Aaron.
All right, thank you, Lori. My turn to share the screen here. Okay, so I am the Executive Director of Hillel at Penn State. We've been in operation for over 80 years. We estimate here in the basics, if I can make my slideshow work right, 5,000 Jewish students at the University Park campus, which is one of the largest Jewish student populations in the country. It's a tremendous student body, tremendous Jewish student body. The university a few years ago created a kosher food program in East Food District, which is where most of the freshmen on campus live. And Hillel ranges from everything from student-led religious services for Shabbat and holidays to incredible leadership opportunities on campus. We have, in any given year, over 200 students in leadership and internship and fellowship roles, ongoing Jewish learning opportunities with our senior Jewish educator, all kinds of Israel travel opportunities, community service, social events, Holocaust speakers, you name it. Our Hillel either does it or we can help you do it. One of the most impactful pieces, I think, of what we offer is actually a grant where Jewish students can create their own opportunities in their own networks with their friends without setting foot in Hillel. The idea is powered by Hillel, not hosted by Hillel. We call it our micro grant program, JPAC, the Jewish Programming Allocation Committee, where if there's something happening, something not happening in Jewish life you want to see, or you want to do your own thing for a holiday or a Shabbat meal, you can do it and we'll support it. And it's really easy and it's all based on our website. And of course we do, major events and dinners and all kinds of great opportunities. There's a number of clubs we support under the Hillel umbrella, Challah for Hunger, where they bake challah every other week for, to sell so students can, raise money for hunger-related charities. There is so much that we do. And I'm really excited to turn this over to Jackie, our student president, who is one of our amazing student leaders. I should first mention this picture you're seeing on the screen now. We are soon going to be moving into a new home downtown in State College, our first Hillel building that we've had on our own in a while, actually. And so that will be open sometime in early 2022. So by the time you all might come to campus, it'll be up and running. You can come and visit. So Jackie, please take it away.
Absolutely. So hi, my name is Jackie. I am going into my final year at Penn State University. I'm studying to be a speech therapist and I'll be applying to grad school next year. Penn State's definitely on my application list. I know that. And yeah, I'm super excited to answer questions about Jewish life. Diana, what are some questions that you would say a lot of our students usually have when they're looking at universities?
Great. I would talk a little bit about first I would actually ask, how did you come to choose Penn State? And
So that's a great question. Yeah, absolutely. So Penn State's actually the only university that I did not visit before applying. We just heard from some family friends that it was a wonderful university and that I should apply to it. And I said, well, this is a large university. That's exactly what I want. So I applied and I got in and I came to visit. And I remember getting to the university and just being like my jaw dropped when I got to the campus. I thought like, all right, I'm done with college tours. I've seen so many, and then I get to Penn State, and I was that amazed that late in the process. I came to the university. I got to meet my current assistant dean and some people who work in the College of Health and Human Development. I just felt like I would be learning from some of the most amazing faculty at Penn State. And I also really love the honors program here, the amount of study abroad opportunities and research opportunities. And I just knew that everything was falling into place. Penn State was the place to be. So yeah, that's how I came to choose Penn State.
Awesome. That is wonderful. And how have you been engaged in Jewish life on campus?
Absolutely. So I always knew I wanted to be involved in Jewish student life. I know a lot of our students don't normally, we have a mix of students, some who really wanted to be involved from the beginning and some who didn't know they wanted to be involved, but were welcomed into Hillel and other Jewish programming and fell in love with it and wanted to stay. So I wanted to be involved, and I started by coming to high holiday services for Rosh Hashanah my freshman year, and I just met the most welcoming people celebrating the holidays. It was so nice. I definitely plan to come back. I attended my first Shabbat, and again, I was just so amazed with how welcoming everyone was and how much it reminded me of home, because I'm an out-of-state student and I feel that, Hillel is a very homey environment. So that kept me coming back. I became a Shabbat regular. I always loved looking forward to my Friday nights to spend it with a really warm group of people. And yeah, I got involved through just these weekly traditional programs. And then a staff member came and talked to me about getting involved in leadership. And I was like, I just attend weekly Shabbats. I couldn't be a leader. And she really encouraged me to do it. She saw something in me, and I'm glad she did, because I've been involved in leadership for 2 years now, and it's so amazing. So that's how I'm involved in Hillel.
That's awesome. That actually kind of leads me to my next question, which was just to talk a little bit about the community atmosphere and like the staff, faculty, even the school administration, and your experience with that.
Absolutely. So I'll start with the students. The Jewish student body at Penn State is just like the general student body at Penn State, which is just very spirited, very welcoming, very excited about everything. All students are super involved and super passionate about the things they're involved in, the majors they study. I get into all kinds of conversations when I'm with my Hillel friends, just learning about everyone's passions, and it's so cool to meet so many different people. And that leads me to also just discuss how diverse our Jewish community is. I've learned so much about how uniquely Jewish everyone can be when I got to Penn State. And I think that's because Penn State Hillel fosters an environment where everyone can be Jewish in the way that they feel strengthens their values. And that there's no such thing as being too Jewish or not Jewish enough. Everyone when they walk in the door. So that is just something I find to be really special about the community atmosphere at Penn State Hillel. Yeah, I'll leave that there.
Awesome. I love that. What advice would you have for an incoming freshman headed to Penn State?
Oh, definitely. I would say if you have a class that is a couple hundred people, try to sit in the first couple of rows. I definitely heard that, and I said I was going to do that. And then I got into my first class at Penn State, which was pretty large. And I said, I don't want to be the person who walks right up to the first row. I would look like a first year student doing that. So I'm going to sit in the 7th row. And that was a mistake, because I saw half the class in front of me, and that was at least 200 people in front of me. And it was very scary. So the next day I made sure I sat in the 2nd or 3rd row. And that was very helpful because I was really able to zone in on my lecture and not worry about how much was going on around me. There's lots of little tricks you can use to make the university smaller. And I would tell anyone who is, nervous about being in a big school, there's a lot of benefits to being in a big school, but there's also things you want to have a smaller feeling for. So yeah, look for communities that make the school smaller. Use those little tricks like sitting in the front of the classroom to not be so overwhelmed with how many people are there. And yeah, that would be probably my biggest advice for an incoming student.
That is a great tip. Thank you. And was there anything that surprised you when you first became a student at Penn State?
Yes, this was a very good surprise, but I was really amazed with the faculty at Penn State. I expected the professors to just be like, these really smart people that you just kind of almost idolize, like they were just, I expected that to be the dynamic. And the professors at Penn State are super down to earth. You realize when you get to meet them that they are people, they are your community members, they are super friendly. They do want to chat with you after class. They always welcome you into their offices. They're always super helpful. They'll always guide you towards your goals and give you recommendations of things to look into, places where you can volunteer or get cool experiences. So I was just super surprised with how warm and supportive the faculty were at Penn State. That would be my biggest surprise.
Awesome. And this might be my last question. What is your absolute favorite thing about Penn State, and what is one thing you would change?
My absolute favorite thing is definitely the community and the people. As I've said before, I've used words like spirited, energetic, passionate about this community, and it applies to everyone, whether it's a student, a faculty member, whether it's an alumni. The alumni are all of what I've just described to you. They're the same way. Members who've never attended the university, but maybe have a family member who has, or people in the state college community, everyone's all that I've said they are. This community is amazing, and I feel so lucky to be a part of it. And the thing that I would change about Penn State, I think, like many students, I'm a big advocate, and we like to advocate for, positive changes. I would love to see our counseling services grow. We already have a great start, but most students are talking about, let's get that better, let's get that more accessible. And so, yeah, I love being a lover of Penn State who also wants to improve it. So that would be my change.
I appreciate that. Always room for improvement.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you would want to share about your university experience, or that you would want to share with someone potentially interested in looking at Penn State to apply?
Definitely. I would say try the ice cream. It's so good. That's also part of why I chose Penn State. I would say, Penn State Hillel is such a home for me, and it's one of those tricks I had to make this big university smaller. And so I would say that, like, I just love Hillel. I realized I didn't even talk about staff, but they're all so amazing, and they're just like the professors at Penn State. They're always looking to help you reach your goals. And a lot of my goals at Penn State weren't just academic ones, but I wanted to get to birthright, and I wanted to give back to this community and volunteer in the community. And the staff has really helped me do that. They are so approachable, so welcoming. They open their families up to you. I have a lot of what I like to call Hillel cousins, little cousins who love to pop up on Zoom and say, hey, and it's very warm to feel like you have a family out here. My parents are really grateful that the staff has taken me in like I'm their own family. And so, that's really special. And just Happy Valley is, super beautiful, most beautiful autumns. If you like a scenic place, you're gonna love Penn State. So many road trips to take, and just you'll always be busy at Penn State. So if you want to have 4 years of fun, hard work, meeting amazing people, this is the place to be.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie. That was really wonderful. I think getting the student perspective is so, so important. Great. So I will kind of open it up. Is there anything else from Laurie, Erin, or Jackie? Anything else you kind of wanted to share that you think students, high school students looking at Penn State ought to know, or do we think we covered it all? We covered it all. Great. Well, I want to thank the three of you so much for being with me tonight, for sharing about Penn State. And I can't wait for other people to find this, and hopefully it is helpful to them in their college search journey. And they will eventually make their way to campus and see just how breathtaking it is. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. For the virtual college road trip, we still have one more week left to finish out June, and a few more visits. So you can always find out about other workshops and university info sessions on the website, which is roadtriptocollege.org. And thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Awesome.